Well, let's go ahead and call our meeting to order, and we'll begin with the pledge and an invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Almighty God, as we gather, we thank you for the opportunity to be here, and we thank you for all the work that's going on behind the scenes so that we can open up schools next week. And we'd ask you to bless all the work that's going on, and we ask that you would bless the opening, that it would be successful, and the opening for kids, that it's successful, and we ask that you would bless us with a good year, with good outcomes and safety, and just a good year all the way around. Amen.
Amen.
And we don't have any public comments, so that brings us down then to student and staff recognition.
Okay, I have staff recognition. First, I want to recognize Mr. Ryan Lambert. He was a panelist at the Science of Reading Conference in Charleston in July and represented the county very well. I also wanted to give a great big shout out to our crew who's making sure that we have breakfast Monday morning, and so that's Brooke Dahmer, Holly Walker, Tina I, and Lisa Jamison, and especially Lisa with the trips she's made to Harrisonburg. So they've done a lot, and I appreciate that. And then the same way, just getting ready for the opening of school, our maintenance team has had a lot to do in very little time. A lot of our projects started this week, and so the pressure and a lot of last minute demands. So Travis is leading that, and with Andy and Dan and all the other people, many people, volunteers in the community that are doing things. And I'd say Travis will talk more about some of that in his section, but we appreciate that. So.
Thank you for all of that. And we have, excuse me, minutes from the July 10th, July 17th, and July 31st meetings. They are all before us. And are there any corrections or objections, or do we have a motion to approve them as presented?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the minutes for July 10, 17, and 31, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Now that moves us down to personnel. And hopefully nothing under retirements, huh?
No, no retirements or
Exactly.
resignations. Vivian Ely for English Language Arts teacher 7 through 12 at Pendleton County Middle and High School. And Jed Hartman, extracurricular wrestling coach at Pendleton County Middle School. And then we have 2 contracts. Do you want me to wait for those?
Let's do the
Okay.
employment first.
And I do recommend that we hire these as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending that we hire the people as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the hiring of Vivian Ely and Jed Hartman, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. And let's just, everybody, Wilma is on the phone now.
Yes.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, approval of contracts. We have Sherry Bennett as substitute aide and Shelby Vinsel for mentor for our school counselor at Pendleton County Middle High School.
And I do recommend that these positions be approved as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending the approval of these contracts. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions?
I had one question. What is Shelby Vinsel for mentor?
Shelby Thomas at the middle school, the middle high school, in her new role as the school counselor.
No, he's gonna mentor the new counselor or
Yes.
the Thomas? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anything additional? Any other questions or comments? Then all in favor of approving the contracts for Sherry Bennett and Shelby Vinsel, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Does that conclude us under personnel?
It does.
Okay, then that brings us down.
We have volunteer chaperone.
Oh, yeah, we do have one somewhere.
Volunteer chaperone.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Was it not?
Mm-mm. No, this this was the one that we had this morning. I reprinted it this morning.
Yeah, there
It's
was
on
one
there
on
'cause I
there.
uploaded it. Oh, is it not on there? Oh, it isn't on there.
I have it on my end.
Well, there's the the recommendation form is there for
Oh,
Patricia Marshall for Pendleton County Schools volunteered and chaperones.
yeah. Elementary. We missed getting it on there, but it is on, it's on the first.
I think it was on the first one, not the second one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I recommend that when they approve the volunteer as presented.
We have the recommendation to approve Patricia Marshall as a volunteer for Pendleton County Schools as presented, for FES actually. Do we have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? Then all in favor of approving Patricia Marshall as a volunteer chaperone for FES, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we'll go to finance
Okay,
then.
under finance, still working on some reconciliation for the treasurer's reports. Everything's coming along fine, but I'm gonna wait at least one more meeting for those to make sure they're all squared away. So I'm gonna go to the bill 6B, bills for approval, July of 2025, so I have some comments. Again, it's a little quieter in the summer months, but sometimes we still have bills that need to be paid, obviously. So we have $299, $216.74 in regular checks, electronic $99,440.27, total $398, $657.01. Going down, making a few comments. On page 2 of the PDF, $59.11.50. That's our renewal for our Thrill Share subscription through the company Aptigee. That's where people can sign on to make the announcements, post things to social media, and those sorts of things. We've had some updated training on that in the past few weeks as we go to a couple more additions to that. So that's our one of our yearly subscription costs for Aptigee or Thrill Share. The next item, legal, which, we do have legal services to be paid for, usually monthly. Epic membership, which is a very good deal for us, $42.40. That's for the whole year to be a member of Epic. It's based upon actual student enrollment compared to the whole region, so I think that's a very fair price for us. There are a couple of services that Epic charges for separately right below that. Bus driver training, whenever we have someone train bus drivers here locally, they get paid by Epic, and then we pay reimbursement, $1866.20. Medicaid billing, we receive almost $200,000 a year in Medicaid billing. Epic helps us with that. So quarterly, $1728.41, so $3594.61. Epic services or general membership fee, and then a couple of service fees there, bus driver training, Medicaid billing. We don't have bus repair as high as we did a meeting or two ago with some of the June bills. This is still pretty high. We didn't have to have an entire remanufactured engine on this one, was pretty substantial repair on a couple of our buses. So hopefully that is coming to a pause. I wouldn't say to an end because we'll always have bus repair, but that's the bus repair again. And those are both in the June 30 financial side of things. The invoices dated June 30. That will mean in FY 27 money for next year, we'll get that reimbursed 95%. Had it been, let's say, the 10th of July, when those invoices were dated, you'd have to wait 2 full years to FY 28. So that little bit of difference does enable us to get that payment just a year faster on that 95%. And those are all cumulative, but that helps us to get that back more quickly. Page 5 of the PDF, Travis may have this on his facilities update, or he may not, but he might, since I'm mentioning it now. We've had some football field work done to help, I think, level out some issues there and get some grass and stuff out there at the football field. So we had some football field work done with Martin's Turf Care. Mon Power is paying some of the routine electric that we have for the summer months. And I would say a goal would be over time as we get some of our programming computer-wise back up to par on programming and monitoring some stuff, is that we can look at those summertime costs that we have and look at the scheduling of the temperatures and those in there in the rooms and look at our summertime cost on that. But we do have summer school and summer cleaning, and so you have to have certain temperatures for that as well.
Is that a monthly bill or is that
That's total for the month, 18,000, and 9,400 was at Franklin Elementary.
Yeah.
Of course, our main summer school was at Franklin, and then the middle high school was on a separate bill. And so the middle high school was about 10,402.50 above that. For the
It was
middle high
kinda cool
school.
too, wasn't it? It was kinda
So-
cool over this.
Yeah, so at any rate, a goal would be to continue to look at those costs and find ways to reduce those, absolutely. Mountain air heating and cooling, we had multiple HVAC issues in units, and doing some maintenance on filter changes, maintenance on making sure things are up and in working condition on some things. So that's higher than normal, but that was a cost to kind of help us get us ready for the new year going forward as well. Going to the next page, page 6, Pendleton Community Bank, they usually end up working with the leasing company on the two-way radio lease. We pay that once a year. We're about halfway through, 3 years out of 5. Our two-way radios several years ago cost us about $160,000. So we're on our way to paying that off over time. The two-way radios there, 45,015.24. Continuing on, doing some summertime maintenance work, getting ready for the school year to start. Randy's contracting services, weed spraying around a lot of the fence lines and property lines to help with weed control and to help us as we have to maintain those areas, not have to weed eat so much, not have the weeds get out of control, and to do some basic spraying. Travis may update this, or it may be added to his list. At the bottom there, we had an issue at Franklin Elementary, I think he may have mentioned it before, where there was some condensation from an air conditioning unit up above the elevator, and then of course some water materialized and damaged some of the circuit boards and things on the elevator, and cost us over $8,000 to get the elevator back and working again. So I think it's up now, but that's certainly an expense that we had to pay there with the elevator at Franklin Elementary School. We've been doing some recarpeting of some of the pre-K room at Brandywine and at Franklin Elementary as well. Summertime's a good time to get that done. Mountaineer Challenge, so if we have any students in the county that go to Mountaineer Challenge, we pay for the tuition for the semester or years by semester. So just over $4,000 for Mountaineer Challenge. I think we've had pretty good success with that program. So that's all the basic highlights that I have as far as expenditures go. If you have any questions for me, let me know. But the total for July, $398,657.01.
I recommend that the bills be paid as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending that we pay the bills as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or any comments? Then all in favor of paying the bills in the amount of $398,657.01, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. We'll pay the bills.
That's all I have under finance, so thank
Okay.
you.
So we're done with finance then, and that brings us over to facilities.
As JP mentioned, we do have, we have completed a lot of projects this summer, and he highlighted a bunch of them on that treasurer's report. And so, you know, we're kind of in the mode right now of trying to finish up as much as we can to try to prepare for opening next Friday. We still have some things left to do, but we are making progress on many of those projects. North Fork, Michael's building, kind of update on that. We're getting closer to them moving in over there and getting started. I've talked to Lance a couple times this week. They've been making several trips over there to kind of get prepped for what we have to do over there to get the wall back together and get in there. So I think, you know, I think it'll take them a month or so once they get in there to actually get that building completed. But hopefully maybe by 1st of October, we'll be able to get back in there. We can still use the rest of the building. We've got the card readers back up and going, so everybody can use the gym and they can do their normal thing. It just, they won't be able to access that part of the building there where the music room was. So that's been one of the things. We did have a couple weeks ago, did get some a grant funding of about $190,000 that I applied for probably about a year and a half ago through Homeland Security. And at that time, the grant was for security film to be placed on all the lower level windows in all of our buildings, all of our elementary schools, including the high school as well. I had not heard anything back from them, and so went ahead and moved forward with the high school with another grant to get that one accomplished. And they're actually in the county today and probably the rest of the week getting the security film out there. So as we get all the paperwork completed on that, we will be adding security film to all the lower level windows in all of our elementary schools as well. So that'll be another project that we'll work on probably this fall and winter to try to get that taken care of. Other than that, that kind of, I think, kind of sums up what we've been working on. And like I said, I'm very appreciative, like Nicole said, with our custodial staff over the summer. You know, we've always kind of worked around summer school at Franklin Elementary, but never to the length of time as Energy Express was at that building. And so, you know, we had kind of made plans for our crew to work around all the other schools. They actually moved faster than we anticipated at all the other schools, which is a good thing. And so we had a little bit of downtime where we were able to accomplish some other projects. So, you know, they went around and jumped around to different schools, and we were able to accomplish some other things. And then as soon as Energy Express finished up, we got in there and got that one knocked out as well. And so Robert and his crew did a really nice job being able to work around that Energy Express program and getting that taken care of. So we'll continue over the rest of the week, this week, and up through next Friday, just trying to get our buildings back in place and everything ready to roll for students on next Friday. So
How about the lockers, Travis?
yeah, got the lockers installed today. That was a big one. So the old ones got out. We got those disposed of. The new ones came from Canada. That crew was in Monday morning, yesterday morning, I guess, and they got those new ones set. They look really nice, and so we'll work through students getting in those lockers and getting those going. So that is a new thing there as well at the high school. So. Had a couple other projects on the summer list that just didn't get around to getting them done, so we'll have to add those into maybe next summer.
But you did a lot, including the football field.
Well, and that's the thing, and Mr. Hedrick used to remind me all the time that all the projects that we do, and you know, I know we've tried to cut back and we've tried to kind of minute some things just happen and you have to do those things, and we have neglected the field out there for probably 20 plus years of no maintenance done on that field. And the baseball coaches and football coaches have asked for a couple years to do some upkeep on that space, and so we did find a company out of the Clarksburg area that the golf course actually uses, and they also maintain Petersburg's football field as well. And so they came in and we were able to plug aerate the entire field, including the baseball part. That also included lime, fertilizing, and seeding the field as well. And that's kind of the start. And I think as we progress over the next several years, I think the next step would be to come in and really try to level the field with a combination of soil and sand to try to even it up some. It's still very unlevel. And actually this week, last year at this time, I found a spot in the field when it was really dry, and this year that spot came back again because I guess it was so wet, and so we were able to patch that place. And so, you know, it's just trying to upkeep it and maintain it. It's nice and green. It's probably as green as it's ever been at this time of year, of course, with all the rain, but that's also caused some other issues that we've had to address out there over the last couple of days as well. So, but we'll continue to try to improve that area the best we can and make it a nice space for the kids and try to make it as safe as we possibly can for them to play on. That's a big thing. So.
Any questions or comments? Not specifically about the facilities, but it brings up the insurance. Are we far enough along to know what we're going to collect, or is that still to remain to be seen?
For North Fork,
For North Fork?
we don't have a final number yet. It came in preliminarily pretty close to what the estimate was, but I'll need to revisit that, make
Okay.
sure and see what the final numbers are on that.
Okay. Any other questions? Then we will say that facilities is done, and we'll move down to the new business of student transfers.
Okay, I have two transfer requests for you. They are TR 2526 numbers 5 and 6.
And I recommend that we approve those transfers.
Our superintendent's recommended that we approve TR 2526 number 5 and TR 2526 number 6. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions?
Not going, you looked right at me. Not
I was
gonna
waiting
affect-
for it.
Yeah, not gonna affect the classroom size.
No.
Right. I know that, but I just make sure we always say that.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
If there's nothing else, then all in favor of approving the two transfers, please signify by saying aye. And opposed, no. Motion passes. Policies for review, first reading.
All right, so we're kind of pausing in between, before we get to the second reading for approval. When we get there, I have a couple of handouts just to show you some of the revisions that we have made. So first reading, there are no particular handouts to give to you. I can, if you would so desire, but they are here on the first reading. And so you may have to refresh if they get loaded later on your board docs. Otherwise, they are here. And so I'm going to go over a couple. And Carrie, for example, so there are 4 primary policies currently for first reading. So the first one, open enrollment for resident students, it is 511301. 511301 doesn't change any major things, and this is not part of your handouts right now. This is we'll get to those here in a minute. These are just on the screen right now. So basically here, and this comes out of state code, state board policy, we didn't have anything in the policy for students within county about any kind of terms and conditions. So what's on the screen, circumstances under which an out-of-attendance zone placement may be revoked, and they be due to chronic absenteeism, tardiness, any kind of behavioral infractions, level 3 or 4, failure to comply with agreed-upon procedures of the transfer of agreement as established between the parents or guardians. Anything, Carrie, you want to add on that?
So just, we have in our non-resident policy, so students who live in another county but come into us, these options in order to revoke their transfer. So if they are chronically absent, since that has been such a focus the last couple of years, or have some intense behavioral infractions, we would be able to revoke their transfer and have them return to their county of residence. We have not had anything in our policy for in-county for resident transfers. So there's been discussion amongst our central office and our principals about adding this in, and the state policy allows for it. We just had never added that. There have been times where we have had resident transfers who have some of the highest attendance rates in those schools. So this would just allow us to say, we're struggling to make it in another attendance zone, so perhaps we should move back to our where we reside, the attendance zone in which we reside.
Okay, so that is the first one that we have there for our first reading, and then we have what's, I'm going to go to 3431 and 4431. Again, that's professional and service. So when we have those seemingly same policies, but the way that we have it with Neola, they're not entirely the same, but wherever they can be the same, the 3000 series is for professional staff, the 4000 series for service staff. And this is one of those policies that was updated based upon state code, but it didn't get updated enough when Neola brought this over for us. Within the last year or so, the state allows, of all the sick leave, annual leave that's given to employees, which is a day and a half a month for a 200-day employee or 15 days a year, up to 5 days can be used for any personal reason without regard to the cause for absence. So 4 was the language of about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. but it is 5, and our current policy manual, even though we adopted it last summer, didn't have that last update, have 5 days. So that's all the change is allowing for the personal leave to say 5 days instead of 4, which is our practice. We give the 5 days. State code says that our policy manual just didn't have an agreement with that. So that will be both for professional and service. I just put the one in to save the amount of paperwork to go through, but 3431 and 4431 will both say 5 days of personal leave without regard to cause, as opposed to 4 days. The next one here is just one, is a picture. It's a picture. I didn't get it to format to a PDF. So Nicole, when we were talking to the central office staff, they leave for 261-day year-round employees. It has been primarily the same for quite a while. It was, I think, tweaked a little bit when the policy manual was updated last year. A couple of things. During the first year of service, so a person, no matter how many years of service they had outside the county, this is all based upon service in the county. So a first year of service for a 261-day person would only get 1 week vacation, which isn't much. 5 days isn't much. You have a couple other leave days that are in there. So the proposal would be to make that be 2 weeks during the first year of service. Second year of service, where it went to 2, just would be taking that out. Instead of 10th year, just making that a little quicker to 8 years for 3 weeks vacation, 15 days. 20th year of service would get the 4 weeks vacation down to 15, and then would go up to 25 with the 6 weeks of vacation with 25 years of service.
The 26th year.
The 26th year, yes. Yep. So that would be an update based. So that would be the readings for those. So 8th, 15th, and I guess 20th, Nicole, for the 5 weeks. I'm just looking at that there. So we have the 8th and the 15th for 20, the 20 years for the 5 weeks, and then 25 years for the 6 weeks. Does that make sense to you, what we're doing there with that one?
And we'll clean it up.
Yeah, we'll clean it. We'll clean
Next
that up.
meeting.
We'll clean it up in an email to you and for the next reading as well. So that's updating that. So there's 3 policies on first reading. The in-county resident transfers, having some guidelines on that. The personal leave, updating with state code to say 5 personal leave days for professional and service, and the annual vacation leave based on that. So that's the 3 to 4 policies there for first reading at this time. Any comments or questions on that?
If you would recommend it,
Yeah.
we'll approve it as a first reading.
Okay, yes, I do recommend that we approve those policies as a first reading.
So our superintendent's recommending that we approve this as a first reading of these policies. So this will not be the reading that will be final. This will be one that we'll bring up again in another meeting to make it final, but this gets it out so everybody knows that we're looking at it. So this would be for a first reading. Do we have a motion to approve it as a first reading for these policies?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then for the policies 5113.01, 3431, 4431, and 4104, this will be a approval of a first meeting. For all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes as a first reading.
All right, so now we get to second reading, and I did not include everything that's there, but I did give you a handout. So it's all the policies that were up for first reading several board meetings ago. I will go ahead and pull up under the policy section of the website a couple ones to highlight. So what I gave to you is a personal electronic device policy. That is the last and final version that we are presenting to you on the PED personal electronic devices that are out there. And so a couple tweaks were given based upon feedback from principals to that. So if I go here to the personal electronic device policy, so we have that one and the staff AUP that were mentioned specifically last time. So first one is 5136, I'm highlighting, personal electronic devices. It's by and large the same as what we've had before. There's a couple of changes to update particular options. It talks about checking the boxes for extracurricular activities. Elementary schools, we talk about elementary schools, we talk about subsequent offenses. And here, middle and high school, so right here on the screen up top, it talks about some of the violations, under violations down to middle and high school. There was some concern, it originally said they're not permitted by middle school students from bell to first period to the last bell of the day. Students in grades 9 through 12 may use their PEDs during lunch, and we added during class change. That was brought up for discussion. During lunch and during class change was just an addition there on that one that we had. So that was a very minor change, but that was one of the change that the school administration desired us to make on that one. I don't remember, Nicole, if there was anything else much. Go ahead.
And they also wanted to make sure that those, at the end, that the student behavior could escalate the consequences.
Right.
That is countywide as well.
Right, so yes, so right below that, right before the end of the policy, we put for all grades pre-K through 12, student behavior may escalate the consequences. So it was kind of falling after the high school section, and so, but it wasn't only for the high school section. So we did go ahead and say, for all students pre-K through 12, student behavior, and then you have that. So that was a point of emphasis, that will say that it's not just high school students, it's all grades PK through 12.
Now, when I first looked at all these sentences that have a line drew through them, I thought you were marking all that out. Why?
Yeah, well, that's just the original stuff.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
our old policy, so it's still old policy that's being taken away,
Right.
and then green. So we've made a few changes to the green, but we didn't go ahead and
So
change
this
everything.
is all the policy with the changes?
Yeah, this is the policy from the beginning of the discussion to where we are right now. I've kind of highlighted a couple of the changes between last time we discussed.
What have
and
we
this one
decided
right
about
now.
storing them? Have you guys, has Derek decided about storing them during the class day?
There are caddies that have been ordered and have been delivered to the high school. Those will be going up, I'm sure, by the end of the week and next week. And so
So
each
take
room
them
will have
classroom,
caddies.
students that go classroom will pick it up, take the next class, put it in. That way they can have it between
If
classes.
they choose to take it to the class, it'll be
Okay.
put in a caddy. So,
Elementary, it'll be the same thing, or?
that'll
Well,
depend
because
on how the
they stay in the
elementary-
same room all day, most of the
Right.
day.
I know, we have some students that have like diabetes
Mhm.
and so are they allowed to?
Yeah, the waivers mentioned in
Okay.
there for medical purposes.
So up on the screen, exemptions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Students with an approved documented need required by a medical doctor or healthcare professional, or if it was an IEP, can have access to the devices if it relates to their need. And then it'll kind of be up to the school to work within this policy framework to make that work. But there are some exemptions, as it states there, based upon need on that one.
The other piece with that you just asked about, we've also added an iPad that we can connect all those devices to, so the nurses can electronically monitor all the statuses of their.
Cause it's automatic, isn't it? It
It's
doesn't have,
automatic,
okay.
and so Eric's been getting those out to the nurses now, so we can start getting the connections made, so that a nurse can carry that with them all day and monitor everybody in the building. And so if they're high or low or whatever else, so that's another piece that we've done to hopefully help with that.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah, so there is a lot of work, as there always is, going on behind the scenes, but there's still a lot of moving pieces and policy updates, so, yeah, there's some good work being done with that. So that's good questions, those are the highlights, of the changes. I'm gonna go ahead and go to
Can
the.
I say
Go ahead.
something about this the policies are still out for public comment. We are going to keep those open until the 18th, just to make sure that we do get feedback. I have received some concerns, and, one of the concerns was that this is cumbersome to look at, but my reply back was, we did want them to see the original policy, and we wanted to see the proposed changes, and then what we have drafted and what we feel is best in our discussions with administration and our teams, and together, what we felt was the best for our students. So we wanted complete transparency to the community and to parents and to students and staff. And so if there's anything significant, I will bring those forward if we have more comments, so that we can open this up again and review again.
So that is the policy there, and the other policy I wanted to highlight for you is the staff acceptable use policy. I know we discussed at the last meeting. So yeah, in the total package, there are staff and certainly student. I just wanted to highlight the staff policy, because I know there was a question about bus drivers, and I want to pull that up here. And so I'm going to scroll down.
And that's actually in the bus driver policy, isn't there? There's a policy on that in their
There's different items there.
transportation
so,
policy or something, yeah.
Yeah, so under where we get to employee personal PEDs in schools at work, the large green section, in schools and at work for employees, we changed on number 10 there, I believe, school bus operators are not allowed to use cell phones while driving students. We had talked about transporting and just made it clear that driving was restricted, but otherwise, if they had to pull off along the side of the road, or they had to, call for assistance or something like that, but it just clarified it wasn't simply transporting, it said driving students based on that. The others pretty much the same, the artificial intelligence. The student section is still the same as we've had there before. So again, some minor changes as we've gone forward. You had an original handout and a notebook to you, so these two were updated between now and then. And so unless, Nicole, there's anything else you would like to say, or board member questions, I mean, this is the second reading of the particular policies highlighted for the electronic device and staff acceptable use policy.
And I recommend that these policies be approved.
These policies plus all the others
Yes.
from previous meetings that we had done, the first
Yes.
meeting on. And so we have a superintendent's recommendation to, not the ones from tonight, but all of the other first reading policies that we have out there be approved. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any comments?
I don't remember, have we developed a policy on AI yet?
In
I thought there was
in
one.
our
Okay.
staff acceptable use policy and
Yeah.
student acceptable
Okay.
use. So this portion here talks about artificial intelligence with the staff.
Right.
Under the student AUP, I'll pull up here on the screen. Didn't give you a separate handout for tonight, but on the screen does get into use of artificial intelligence for school work. And it gets into the fact, this section here, that it can be valuable to learn about it and how to do it, but there's also, when they're used responsibly and effectively, but they should cite their work, and then there can be consequences if it's not cited appropriately. And it's going, I think as I've said before, it's going to be a learning curve for all involved to deal with things like artificial intelligence. But this came with guidance on artificial intelligence, which we've looked at and modified a bit. And so in our acceptable use policy for students and staff, there are sections on artificial intelligence, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So if we approve this, then everything will be streamlined so that the comments about it being so bulky will go away, and it will be the policies that will be in effect. The policies are, by definition, living documents, and so some of them are gonna remain open until the 18th for people to look at. If they have comments and we decide to change them, we'll have to come back in and we'll have to go through an amendment process again. So these will be the policies that would be in place. So all those in favor of all of those first reading policies being approved with this as a final and second reading, please signify by saying aye. And opposed, no. Motion passes. And you don't have to have any well, here comes school updates. Do we have any school updates?
Here he comes.
He couldn't stay away.
You don't have to update us with anything, but are there any updates?
I don't know, Travis already talked about the lockers, but the lockers are installed and are great. The scheduling's done and we're ready for students.
Well, some of you are, I'm sure.
Some of us are.
And we definitely welcome Ms. Latif.
Yes.
Yes.
Still, I just got a whole bunch more boxes to bring to work. I brought a whole bunch today.
Right, so that's a school update all by itself. Okay, Well, they'll move on then to school improvement student achievement.
I just wanted to report that I have gone through the general summative assessment data for the elementary, and I sent that out to the directors today. I will be working on the middle school and the SAT school day data next, and then we're gonna meet and look for some focal points and some areas that we need to focus on and see where we need to keep our strengths and where we need to work on, so.
Okay, superintendent's update.
I did want you to know that the first article did get sent to the Pendleton Times, and I believe it'll be in this week. That'll be something that I will do at least once a month or quarterly, depending on need, minimally quarterly. Sharing with the superintendent has been up and open and was very good because the comment section for the policies was down temporarily, and I didn't know that, so that gave somebody, a parent, the opportunity to say, hey, that's not working, so I appreciated that. And we have new employee orientation starting tomorrow and the next day in this room, and so that's exciting.
That is exciting. Any questions for the superintendent? Conference and meeting update.
So tomorrow is the South Branch meeting, but Christy will be going as my designee, and I will be meeting this week with my mentor and looking forward to that. And we have opening day Monday, which we're all getting super excited for.
5:30.
5:30.
6 maybe.
5:30.
That's awful late evening you have, isn't it?
All right. Any questions under that? Then our next meeting will be not until August the 19th. And that'll be here in this office at 5:30, and I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. And opposed, no. Motion passes, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Thank you.